So we have the posterior chain now. So the posterior chain predominantly is made of our latissimus dorsi and our glutes, okay? So how's this function? Well, this helps us to give us a propulsion, this movement of coming forwards as well. So again, it's going to work alongside our anterior oblique sling. So when your leg hits the ground, your glutes are going to contract, it's going to stabilize your pelvis, it's going to keep you where you are, but your lats on the other side are also going to help stabilize your pelvis as well. Because if your glutes aren't working, what will happen is your pelvis will start to drop. Your lats will then try to work a little bit harder to try and pull your hip back up. Again, when you're running, it's not, your pelvis doesn't stay still when you're running. As you hit the ground, it hits the ground, it stabilizes, and this one has to hitch a little bit to allow your leg to swing through. And if it's not doing that, that's when you catch your leg. So ever notice when you're tired, you feel you kind of catch your feet every now and again, particularly if you're doing trail running as well. So again, really, really important muscle, your glutes and your latissimus dorsi. And this is why some people will have some shoulder pain when they're running, because when they're running, their glutes aren't activating, their lats are working a lot harder. The lats come underneath your shoulder here, and they pull your shoulder forward, so it'll put more strain into your shoulder as well. So we need to make sure your glutes and your lats are functioning correctly. Again, if your glutes aren't switching on, what will happen when your leg hits the ground, your glutes, then instead of them contracting, your hamstrings will take over. And this is why some people feel when they're running, the hamstrings are incredibly tight. So if we think when we're running, looking again at the posterior sling, as we're running, what's happening is as our leg comes down into this front position, ready to take the weight, remember we have kind of 3 or 4 phases when we're running. If you think running, the difference between running and walking is that you have an airborne phase, and you only ever have one leg in contact with the ground at any one time. Whereas with walking, you'll have at one point both legs on the ground at the same time, and that's the difference between the two, and also the amount of force that's coming through them. So when you're running, you're going to have an airborne phase, but as that leg hits the ground, it's priming itself. This is why it's important that we use our arms when we're running, because again, when the opposite arm's coming through, it's priming itself as well. And when it comes through to this position, as we come to pull through and push to generate that force to move us forward, glutes contracting, lats contracting, what we're doing is we're priming our glutes, priming our lats, so we're moving forwards. So I'm moving forwards here, the lats kind of lengthening, ready to contract and put us back. And as it does that, it's then going to contract, it's going to stabilize my pelvis, it's going to lift my pelvis up here, it's going to stabilize through this side here, it's going to generate my force to move forwards, it's going to give me rotation, my oblique slings at the front, my anterior oblique slings are going to work together, we're going to get that force and it's going to move us forward. So remember, legs hitting the ground, glutes are priming, arms coming forwards, lats, these muscles here, are priming, and as we push through, the lats contracting, our glutes are contracting, and they're giving us that control we need to generate the right amount of force to move forwards. So what type of exercises? I hear you say that, what can we do? So some of the really nice exercises that work quite nicely. So just simple things, get your glutes activated, squeeze for your bum first, poke it, make sure it's switched on. The amount of times people squeeze it, yeah, I'm squeezing, and it's still soft. Squeeze tight, tighten it, and the hip extension. Hip extension is here, not here, okay? That's extending through my back. So I want to make sure I'm controlling what my hip's doing and what my pelvis is doing, my lumbar spine is doing, my lower back. So I'm going to control from my core, tighten from my core muscles, squeeze from my bum, pull it back. So this is very linear, but again, as I'm standing and taking it through this leg, I'm stabilizing through this leg as well. So I'm stabilizing my pelvis, I'm allowing movement and control through this side, and I'm just kind of taking it back and relax. Now if I want to make this a bit more functional, remember we said about this priming and the arms coming back, I can get a band, attach it onto something, and I can pull this at the same time in the same action as I would for running. So that downwards move, rather than just a kind of a row, you want to pull it down as you would for running. You run with your arm in this kind of arc position. So again, you can hold onto a band, have it maybe a little bit higher, so when you pull it down, it's coming through that arc. And again, as you're doing it, so have it in the opposite hand to the leg that's moving, all right? And if we think, we're going to go from here, all right? It's stable, all right? And as the leg comes through, that's when I'm going to pull it through. So I'll be doing this action here, pulling round and back. So I'll do it on the other side, okay? I'm holding onto my band, I'm going to pull it back, squeezing through my glutes, and relax. Squeezing through my glutes and relax. And at the same time, stabilizing through my leg. And as I'm stabilizing, I'm trying to keep my pelvis nice and level. Squeezing through these glutes on this side as well. Pulling through this band on this hand, my right hand. My left leg's pulling back, squeezing through the glutes on there as well. So great little exercise. Bridging, you can do the same with bridging. Remember, bridging is so underutilized, but also done so wrong. People do a lot of bridging and they lie on their back, and what they're doing is they're just lifting up and back down. What we need to do is push through our heels, squeeze through our bum, okay, tighten through our core, flatten our back down into the ground, just tilt through the pelvis, just lift up, okay, and you only go as far as your back maintains a neutral position. You don't want to start arching through your back, your core switches off, your glutes don't work as well. So tighten through your core first, squeeze through your bum, push through your heels, and then squeeze and lift up. And if you want to make this harder, lift the leg up, all right? But keep squeezing, keep the pelvis neutral, don't let it twist. Okay, so this is another great exercise. And I'll repost these exercises individually so I can give a bit more detail.